All right. Good morning to one and all present here. Sawadee Ton Chao. My name is Nitish Bhat, and today I want to speak about a topic that is crucial for us in Southeast Asia. Beyond gigawatts, crafting resilient grids for tomorrow's challenges. What do I mean by beyond gigawatts? How do we address tomorrow's challenges? What are these challenges? I will address all your questions in the next 20 minutes or so. But before that, perhaps a few words on myself and the company that I work for. I currently operate as a senior financial and market analyst at Wärtsilä Energy, based in Singapore and focusing on the Middle East and Asia regions. Wärtsilä Energy is an institution with a vision for a 100% renewable future. We aim to enable the energy transition through our portfolio of leading power sector technologies, such as engine power plant solutions, energy storage and optimization solutions, and life cycle agreements. We are a globally recognized leader in this space, with sales to over 180 countries, 80 gigawatts of installed capacity in engines, over 130 energy storage installations, and about 30% of operational installations under service agreements. Now, of this, the Middle East and Asia regions have been a big focus for us, with about 40 gigawatts of engine power plant solutions and about 7 gigawatt hours of storage solutions delivered. Using our 190 plus years of technology and power plant expertise, we continuously engage in dialogue with stakeholders across Asia to enable the transition and develop economies together. So in line with that, today I want to look at the situation in APAC. So to set the stage and to make sure we are all on the same page, we have all seen some or the other version of this data. Asia Pacific's energy transition is gaining strong momentum. Millions, in fact billions of dollars are flowing into clean energy. There is a growing focus on solar and wind, and we are all moving in the right direction towards a renewables-driven future. So that's what APAC is doing today. What if I zoom into a particular country? How about the Philippines? We see similar trends in the Philippines, and the Philippines is on track towards a greener future as well. In fact, they have set renewable energy generation targets of 35% by 2030 and 50% by 2040. In fact, we did a modeling exercise in-house as well, using Plexus, a software that is used by power system planners globally. And we noticed that solar, wind, and storage are going to flood the system in the coming years in order to meet national targets. So APAC is moving in the right direction. The Philippines is moving in the right direction. And the energy transition seems to be in full swing, right? Questionable. I want to take a step back from future renewable targets and look at the situation in the Philippines today. A country needs to set a strong foundation in terms of its grid. It needs reliable power supply before it starts enabling the renewable penetration in the system. This graph here depicts the installed and the dependable capacity along with the peak load in Luzon, which has been used as a proxy for the Philippines over the last 5 years. And the picture is clear. It shows that there appears to be enough capacity to meet demand in the Philippines. However, the constant red and yellow alerts paint a different picture. There have been several occasions where the operating margin has been insufficient. There have been several occasions where the power supply have been insufficient, all indicating supply-driven grid concerns. But you know what? These grid alerts are just scratching the surface. Supply-driven grid concerns can cause several issues and across different timescales as well. So what breaks in the grid when these supply-driven grid concerns become material? Within seconds to minutes, you have frequency deviations, voltage instability, inertia reduction, causing automatic load shedding and protection trips as well. Grids can lose its stability almost instantly. Within minutes to hours, your inflexible baseload assets will not be able to ramp up quick enough to cover the supply-demand gap, causing scarcity events and blackouts as well. These inflexible assets will also have to cycle much more, causing increased cycling stress and cost to the system. Within hours to days, renewables start getting curtailed, meaning that low-cost energy is getting wasted, ruining the economics of the renewables and of the power system as well. Operators would have to call upon more expensive peaking options and enact rolling outages as well. And finally, seasonal and extreme events, droughts, heat waves. These events can really expose gaps in your power system. Generation existing on paper, but not at the right time and the right place. System average interruption rises, unserved energy increases, reliability deteriorates, and investor sentiment is hurt. Supply-driven grid concerns can negatively affect the grid and cause much bigger problems. But what are the reasons for the grid alerts in the Philippines? You have forced outages, where 65% of outages between 2020 and 2023 were forced outages. Adequate capacity on paper, in reality, perhaps not. Harsh temperatures. These harsh temperatures heavily affect large thermal plants, causing derating in capacities, negatively affect coal plants that need a lot of water consumption, and cause a depletion of hydro generation as well, which accounts for 10 to 15% of generation in the Philippines. You have slow to react thermal plants where during faults, when transmission lines are brought up almost immediately, these inflexible assets don't have the ability to close the supply-demand gap. And finally, fuel supply constraints, restriction and depletion of the local Malampaya gas fields. All supply-driven issues. Now, think back to how we started this story with the Philippines having adequate capacity. But still, we see so many supply-driven grid concerns. And everything we discussed right now was just the scenario until today. We have not even started discussing what would happen when renewables penetrate the system and our energy transition journey accelerates. As per the IEA World Energy Outlook 2024, in order to achieve net zero scenario by 2050, 89% of demand would have to be met by renewables. And with that, in order to cater to these supply-driven grid concerns, what we need is supply-side flexibility. But before we jump into that, there are additional issues that the grid will see when there is an influx of renewables. intermittency will increase, forecasting errors will increase, the grid will become extremely susceptible to extreme weather conditions, and finally, low inertia situations will also increase due to the inverter-based resources. Inflexible legacy plants will not be able to chase and follow renewables in the system, and the effect of a lack of fast reserve and flexible capacity will be felt like never before. Site-driven renewable capacity will cause transmission bottlenecks, and the aging infrastructure will also come into question much, much more. Now, let me repaint this picture for you. Asia Pacific is pushing for the energy transition. The Philippines is doing the same. We say we have adequate capacity on paper to handle this energy transition, but in reality, we see a different story. Moving forward, there will be an influx of renewables in order to meet national energy targets, and with that, these issues will amplify and the grid stability will come into question. Gigawatt after gigawatt is being added, not just in the Philippines, but across Southeast Asia. But it's time to reevaluate if the right capacity is being added. What we need is capacity that we can control. Capacity that is flexible. Flexibility is the key to strengthening system and grid reliability. And as discussed previously, this flexibility will be needed across different timescales. And as IEA highlights here, we would need both short duration and seasonal supply side flexibility. And that's where flexible gas plants come into play. In order to cater to different flexibility needs, we need an optimal mix of different technologies. One of them being energy storage, which can handle grid stability disruptions in milliseconds. But when you want to look at a more holistic solution to supply side flexibility, that's where engines come into play. The ability to handle minute level, hour level, day-to-day, seasonal basis of balancing, providing additional power when neither renewables nor storage is available. That's the role engines can play in your system. Having these dynamic assets will enhance supply-side flexibility. We believe that engines are a good source, a one-stop source of supply-side flexibility because these are highly modular solutions that enhance availability, reliability, and efficiency at a plant level. They're resistant to high ambient temperatures, perfect for Asian conditions. They're fuel flexible, having the ability to operate on gas, liquid fuels, biofuels, and moving forward on green fuels such as hydrogen, ammonia, methanol. They're extremely operational flexible with the ability to synchronize to the grid and go to full load within 2 to 5 minutes. They do not have any minimum up or downtime and have the ability to follow renewables in the system. These characteristics make engines an asset that is highly future-proof. These engines are ideal for forward-looking grids. They are what we call the Swiss knife of the power system, having the ability to fast start, to do grid capacity balancing, to do load following, low load operations, and to stop fast as well. And when renewables start penetrating the system more and more, system planners and operators will start prioritizing this supply side flexibility even more. Finally, We conducted a modeling study in-house to compare two pathways to net zero. Pathway 1 being renewables and storage only. Pathway 2, renewables, storage, and flexible engines, the balanced approach. And the impact of adding flexible engines were significantly positive. Reduced cost, reduced emissions, lesser wasted energy, and lesser renewable capacity and land requirements. As we plan for the energy transition, it is crucial that we cater to tomorrow's power system challenges. And in order to do so, we need a resilient grid. A resilient grid that is characterized by supply-side flexibility. And we strongly believe that engines are a good source of this supply-side flexibility. So it's time to start thinking beyond gigawatts and towards the gigawatts that can add flexibility, resilience, and reliability to your grid. Thank you.